Hello everybody, my name is Pravus and welcome back to more Plague Inc. Evolved custom scenarios. Yes, it is time to revive some of this series, at least for a week or so, because I really need a break from Valheim. It's taking too many of my hours. Anyway, since the Cure expansion release, there has been a nice renewed interest in Plague Inc. custom scenario creation, and there's been a lot that has been submitted onto the popular tab. Lots of good stuff that we could pick from if we so desire. For today, though, I have a specific one in mind called the Super Neurax Worm. This has been making its way up the Steam popular tab, which is usually a pretty good sign. So let's see. The search function is always going to be fun to work with, ain't it? There it is. That's the one, by Fallen Energy 777. And let's be honest, 777 is just the edgier workaround to 666, isn't it? Anyway, at first it may be a little hard to infect, but soon the world will fall. For a short, tiny answer, the scenario is an advanced version of the plague. And remember, I left all the recommended genes down below. Okay, so let's see. There is a slight story here. It has been over 40 years after the Neurax worm was eradicated. Yes, eradicated. But, of course, the Neurax worm isn't stupid fail. Okay, but that Neurax worm isn't a normal one, it's an evolved one. The Neurax worm is ready to take down all the world once and for all. There are no endings, just the things that you can make the host do. There's a secret ending, it's pretty tough to get, so yeah. So you're telling me there is an ending. Got it. Why are we getting gene pop-ups as if I've never done this before? Good lord, do you not even know who I am? All right, well, let's go ahead and play this on brutal difficulty. The Neurax 666 mystery. Hey, we found the 666. I knew it was going to pop up somewhere. The Neurax worm was eradicated a long time ago, but humans didn't know it had secret DNA to hold itself from eradication. But now the Neurax worm wants revenge. So you are going to take them down, starting in New Zealand. Interesting. You have to be very careful, since the humans have vaccines to slow you down, so be careful. Yes, that's a bit redundant. There are no endings, but there is a secret one, which means there is an ending. Anyway, transmissions, moistness. The worm can only survive for 2 hours when not inside the host. After that, the worm will suffocate. The worm can survive forever inside the host. Immortality? Congratulations. Advanced oxygen can survive for 8 to 10 hours, bit expensive, pretty darn effective though. And it looks like we have our standard movement, eggs, and genetic swap. Then for symptoms, we have brain accesses. Instead of access, because it's supposed to have, 2 C's. Anyway, worm able to access the brain to control the host and make the host do things, and also to lay eggs inside the brain for the worm. Disruption, make the host want to be alone. Host cause a tiny bit of aggression, misspelled when disturbed. And cysts, eggs laid, misspelled in host, have a chance to mutate into cysts. That's not how cysts work. Containing some eggs. Bursting can spread it. Gross. And abilities, we have our standard cold, heat, and drug resistance. We have our Trojan planes. We have the Neurax. The causes of the manipulation is weaker, less severity and lethality, but gets rid of infectivity and gives mutation chance. But research is faster. That's a lot to unpack. Hang on, it's weaker, there's less severity and lethality, but lower infectivity and higher mutation chance, and also the research is faster. That sounds terrible. Why would I want that? Vaccine shield. Buy this to unlock vaccine resistance. Very importante. Okay, we'll come back to that one. Transmission shift. Okay, move faster and in animals. Unlocking transmission. Symptoms. Not everyone will do the one symptom you evolve. I don't know how that unlocking works, but okay. And then ability drift, unlocking abilities. Well, I mean, this just sounds like the base game. Why even have a gating mechanism if I already started with everything? That seems like an unnecessary gate, don't you think? Unnecessary gatekeeping? There's a Reddit for that, I'm pretty sure. Anyway, all right. Let's go for some vaccine resistance and see what we get there, because we're starting off in New Zealand, and I know that's a wealthier country with pretty good medicine. The original Neurax worm was eradicated by vaccine EJC, but it has secret DNA to hold itself from eradication, slows infectivity decrease, and important, and slows the cure. All right, so it sounds like that's one of the first things we are going to need to get ourselves in order to begin to spread. It actually comes with a reasonable amount of infectivity, about on par with some of the transmission options, so I'll work with that. We also have vaccine EJB. Let me guess, the next one is vaccine EJA? I'm just guessing. Slows infected going down and gives more infectivity. It's a pretty good amount of infectivity, I'm telling you. We'll go with it. Hot countries are getting hotter. Global warming. No. How could you do this? All right, and then vaccine. Yep, there it is. Infected percentage cannot go down and gives infectivity and great in wealthy countries, and vaccine cannot be used anymore. By the way, less cure. I mean, the way you described it, it sounds like even if they cured me, they'd never be able to eradicate what we already have. We just wouldn't be able to win the game. So I'm just saying, it's a little bit of a weird roundabout way to talk about it. Anyway, let's go for some movement. Then we can go from movement to 10 DNA. Pretty darn infective. We do need to get ourselves at least a bit of severity so that as we do eventually get out of New Zealand, and by the way, only 2 people are currently infected, we'll be able to start enjoying a lot more from the red bubbles. Let's go ahead and grab eggs. We do need to get things like eggs too. Yeah, so far, seriously, New Zealand refuses to get infected. What is going on here? No, like, for real, like, what is going on here? They actually refuse to be infected. New Zealand has good medicine and all, but not that good. I don't know. I remember I have a grandfather who lived in New Zealand for a good long while. Let's go ahead and grab vaccine A, by the way, just in case that's necessary. And he actually raved about the New Zealand healthcare system. I mean, he was American through and through, a very conservative guy, but he liked that they had a public option on top of private health insurance. So he thought that was pretty darn awesome at the time. See if it's New Zealand is still the same nowadays. I have no idea. Anyway, that's aside the point, though. Let's go for some Trojan planes and get the frick out of here. Whenever you want to give me a plane. Any day now. I'm sure you can do it. We're going to go for eggs level 2. That does lead into things like air and water. We will want those. We also need to get movement level 2. We're getting a pretty shocking amount of DNA, considering we're still in only one country with only 20,000 people infected. What the frick? All right. Well, New Zealand, you know, we could go for the air, we could go for water. I'm going to go for air. I think that getting on a plane will be fantastic. Try to get out of the country. Okay, we finally have a Trojan plane. Let's go to Saudi Arabia. That'll help make up for some of the difference. We're getting so much DNA. What is going on? What's this? High spit. Spit out a few worms from your game. It's a spore burst. Oh. Okay, yeah, why not? I mean, we got Trojan planes, so it's not like I ever have to worry about not getting into Greenland. Let's just, wow, that was a terrible spore burst. It just all went in Asia. A good spore burst, though, to kind of speed things along? Yeah, why not? It could be helpful. Why not? Let's go for some water transmission here as well. Movement level 4, you know, this is mostly land transmission, which is interesting. So I kind of thought this was going to be the basic, like, concertina locomotion, but it's not. This is actually just land transmission. So this is actually customized over here. We do want to get ourselves advanced oxygen, probably. Make the worm stronger. Lots stronger. New parasite discovered. Scientists and doctors have detected a new parasite. It doesn't seem to be dangerous, but it is very hard to analyze. Some scientists believe that this is the original Neurax worm they eradicated, but how is it alive? Cure, baby, impossible. It is. You're all dead. Suffocation immunity. The worm can now survive forever without a host. Extremely useful, makes the worm a lot stronger. Yeah, that's a lot of infectivity and severity to go around, no doubt about it. We do need some symptoms. We did get actually unremovable tendrils. The Neurax worm's tendrils that are inside the brain are impossible to remove. Super important. Honestly, if you don't get this, you will lose. So yeah, get it. Well, but when will I lose? Will I have time to go for a little bit longer before I lose? What's going on? I mean, you told me that the vaccine is like immune. I'm immune to vaccines, dude. All right, let's go for some disruption as well. So this unlocks loud speech. Oh, it's me. Yeah, and nausea. It's also me. What do you know? Let's go to Brazil. I'm just trying to get into all the different continents a little bit. Speed things along smidge, just a tiny little bit here. Somehow the DNA has slowed down a lot, considering how much we were making in freaking New Zealand at the time. All right, I guess we'll just go ahead and grab unremovable tendrils. I don't know what the humans were thinking about doing to try and stop me from winning the game, but we'll never know, because they can't remove my tendrils. I am well and truly integrated into the human spirit. Let's see, we could go for things like the urban regions, poor and rural, as well as rural countries from swine. All of that is an option. What's this? Goo explosion. Goo. 10 more random countries infected. Do it. Boom. There we go. We have spread the goo across the world. It just sounds horrible, doesn't it? Let's go for some heat and cold and drug resistance. Also a level of heat resistance because New Zealand's a neutral country, and we know that the hot countries got hotter because the humans didn't deal with climate change in time. So now we're all gonna die. Thanks for that. Let's go to West Africa. We could go for what? What do we want? Let's go for loud speech and bullying. They can cause high bullying for the host. Wait, do people bully the host, or does the host do the bullying? Because the way I'm seeing this, it sounds like the bully gets hosted because he's a loud talker. Worm can cause activeness in the host, making the host not sleep at all or stay up a lot. More severity, questionable how useful that's ultimately going to be. Let's go for some more movement for even more land transmission. Then we have super locomotion, able to swim inside treated water too. Infective and land transmission sounds like it's also a water transmission. 29 DNA, loads of infectivity. But with the amount of land transmission we've got, now that we're in every continent, we should basically be able to get everywhere without any issue, right? Suffocation immunity might be nice. nice. Might also be overkill. Let's go for some swine and some ticks for the rural countries around Africa and the poor countries in Africa, both of which will end up being helpful. What are we ultimately missing here? Central America, yes. Okay, we're missing the Philippines and Madagascar and Greenland as far as islands. We'll take care of that with Trojan Plains. We could get another level of that. I'm mostly trying to figure out where are we going to get things like, you know, where are we going to get things like the lethality. Looks like we found Transcendence, and it's actually misspelled and also really early on in the tree for some reason, so that's fun. Let's get nausea. I'm just curious where this is all going to go. So coughing leads to skin lesions, leads to fever and confusion, leads to necrosis and coma. What's the secret ending? I want to know. Fever, okay? What we got? We got fever. I'm hot-blooded. Check it and see. I got a fever of 103. Wouldn't you be dead if you had a fever of 103? No, but you would have to go to the hospital. Tumors? I don't know. I'm just kind of thinking, do we just have to get as far down the tree as possible for a secret ending? Super secret? Maybe I have to get the Neurax. Is that a thing? But why would I want to do that? I want lethality, and I want severity and infectivity and stuff. It just doesn't seem very helpful. Let's go for another level of Trojan Plains, since I'm not getting a lot of those. Let's go for some tumors. That leads to the control. Oh, the custom win condition. We found it. We just had to dig deep enough, and we found it. Neurax worm gains ability to completely make the host do whatever the worm wants, unlocking a custom win condition. The new era can now control anyone on Earth and make them do whatever the worm wants. Secret ending. Very secret indeed. It sounds like it's effectively the Transcendence, but you just have to invest a little bit more to get it. Let's go over to Greenland, which, by the way, I see has a custom airport. It's completely unnecessary, but I do appreciate the gesture. We got into every island, so now it's just a matter of the land transmission in places like Africa, which admittedly is still a little slow. Let's pick up the tick level 2 for the rural and poor countries, which should help quite a bit. And I guess we could go for things like suffocation immunity, but we're instead going to go for a new era, just so we have the win condition set and ready to go. They're trying to work on that cure. It just ain't doing them very much good, is it? Nah, I only have 5%. Brazil's now beginning to break down as everyone worships their new overlord. Necrosis, I mean, very lethal, but at this point, lethality sounds completely irrelevant to me. What do we want? More heat resistance. That would be good, considering. And let's also get some more swine. Yes, the cure. Scientists believe that this is the exact same Neurax worm that was eradicated. It is unsure how it is alive, but scientists are telling normal people to work on the cure too. Cure may be possible. You don't say. I mean, we got 8 billion people infected, but sure, I guess the regular Joes are gonna start working on that cure. It's crowdsourcing at its finest. Let's see, we need to get into Sudan and Zimbabwe. They're struggling a little bit, apparently. More drug resistance could be good. What do we want? I mean, I don't know, maybe suffocation immunity or something could be good. We did get into Zimbabwe, so we're in every country. Now it's a matter of just winning. All right, forget it. We're just going to go ahead and slow down the cure with genetic hardening. We're going to buy ourselves a genetic reshuffle, reset that a little bit so the average Joes feel demoralized because they did nothing to actually help. Haha. Sucks to be a scrub. There's also drug resistance level 3. Fascinating. We're just going to grab a couple more levels of this. That slows things down a fair little bit. I imagine I just need to get everyone in the world infected, yes? I'd be very disappointed if it turns out that this win condition doesn't actually work. There are no healthy people left. There it is. Okay, the new era begins. I was about to say, if this doesn't pop up right now, I'm going to get angry. The Neurax worm now controls anyone on Earth and makes him do whatever the worm wants. The worm has succeeded with the revenge, and now it is finally time to control humans and their mindless minds. That seems like a paradox, but okay. Boom, 9 billion people infected. New dark future awaits. It's effectively the Transcendence victory, but the custom edition is just as hard to get to as the actual regular Transcendence. So that was really easy on brutal difficulty. A few misspellings and stuff here and there, but overall, not bad. I mean, it's got a fair bit of customization to try and tweak things. At the end of the day, it's really more just too easy. There's still too many good ways of spreading up the infectivity and building things up. And I didn't really see anything that changed the way the Neurax normally plays. It's just the same thing, but rearranged to be a little bit different with some new flavor. And that's not a bad thing. You know, as far as an entry into the workshop, this is one of the better ones that I've played recently, so thank you very much for creating that. 454 days, 24% cure progress, 55,034 points, and 2 stars on the brutal difficulty, not half bad. Did I recommend it? Yeah, why not? I mean, it's pretty decent. Again, like, I think it could be improved, but I think it's certainly a very good start. Thank you all very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you were excited about more Plague Inc. content. If so, then I would humbly ask that you hit that like button. It really does help. Make sure you leave a comment, subscribe, hit that notify bell, and I will see you guys next time.